Hello everybody, bonjour. A lot of people have been asking me recently why I'm not doing a blog when right now there is so much to write about. I'll be truthful with you, a blog is a massive undertaking. It takes me hours to write it, and it takes almost as many hours for my team to proofread and correct my grammatical errors and spelling mistakes. Then we have to send it to translation, then we have to get it posted. It really is a massively time-consuming thing. However, communication right now is absolutely critical. It's paramount to what we're doing. And I'm finding that these video messages are actually a better, more efficient way right now to accomplish that. We keep track of the stats that these return, and I actually find I'm getting better penetration through these messages than I do through a blog. Let me start again by thanking each and every one of you for everything that you're doing every single day on the front lines. It sounds repetitive to keep saying thank you, thank you, thank you, merci, merci, merci. But I mean that from the bottom of my heart. We hear all about frontline healthcare workers. We hear about truckers. We hear about people stocking grocery stores. And to a large degree, what we are doing as air traffic controllers, we are part of the unsung heroes of this pandemic. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you're doing, risking yourselves and your families when you come into work every day. I also have to take a moment to acknowledge our friends, colleagues, and workers on the East Coast. I've learned over the years from my trips to the Maritimes that it is such a tight-knit community. What happened there this week with the shootings in Nova Scotia was absolutely horrible. I want you to know you're in our thoughts, you're in our hearts, as is all of Canada expressing the same towards you. And if there's anything we can do from the union standpoint to help, please reach out because we are here for you. So let's talk about some news and what's going on with CATCA. The pay deferral that you voted to accept and the back pay deferral that you voted to accept. We signed the LOU on that today, today being Thursday, April 23rd, and it will go into effect on the pay period that starts April 30th. Most of you have already seen that on the BNF that probably brought you to this video in the first place. If you have any questions about that, please ask your RVP and they will give you the answers that you need. Again, I have to say thank you for voting in support of that. I know it was a very difficult decision. I know it was a huge ask. We tried to stay out of it as best we could in terms of swaying opinion or decision. But the members came through with a very resounding majority, yes, that they would do this. I know there are a lot of questions about the company's finances, their position, what is management doing, what kind of cuts are they taking? A lot of questions. But from a global big picture perspective, which I try to look at as much as I can, it doesn't take much to realize that with an 80 to 90% drop in traffic, which is what we are seeing across the country, this company is in trouble. Our revenues have been slashed, and the times ahead right now look very bleak. CATCA has adopted a new motto for ourselves in this day and age, and it is keep each and every member connected to a paycheck. I don't want to sound alarmist, I don't want to sound scary, but that is something that we keep in the back of our heads every single day as your executive board. Keep every member connected to a paycheck. Every little thing that we do, even if it's small in the big scheme of things, what we did on the pay deferral is not going to solve the company's problem, but it will help. And the more things that help, the longer we keep people connected to paychecks. And that's a good thing for all of us. Let's take a minute to talk about OSFI. Commuted values. A lot of you had, for lack of a better word, the rug yanked out from under you on commuted values by actions that OSFI put in and froze the transfer of payments associated with them. The rules around commuted values haven't changed. What you need to do to get a commuted value hasn't changed. And the only thing that has been frozen is the actual transfer of the payment. So if you want to take a commuted value, you still have to follow the rules as we've done before. The paperwork's the same, the process is the same. But what will happen now is that the payment will end up in a little bit of a state of limbo. I was fortunate enough to participate in a conference call with OSFI and plan sponsors from across the country and actuaries, where we got the ability to actually ask them some questions. CACA asked a question and it was answered. Our question was, is there a way for people to apply for an exemption to get their commuted value? And the answer is yes. There's a number of terms and conditions that exist around that. A spot evaluation has to be done on the pension plan in question. It has to be in a fairly financial, stable, or healthy state. I believe ours is. And the plan sponsor, in this case NAV Canada, has to request that of OSFI. Can we transfer the monies? We also asked the question, what onus is on the plan sponsor to make that request? And OSFI responded that they expect the plan sponsor, in this case NAV Canada, to take those requests very seriously and do due diligence in processing them. If you are taking a commuted value and you have put in your paperwork and you are waiting for your transfer, you should write NAV Canada, whoever you were contacted with in the pension department, and ask them to apply for an exemption to transfer your payment because you need that for retirement monies. It was one of the stipulations that OSFI said that they would consider a transfer under. If NAV Canada does not do that, I have no reason to believe that they won't. But then you write OSFI directly and say, they have not processed my request. I'm fairly optimistic that this will allow for commuted values to be processed. However, I have to stress that all NAV Canada does is make the request. Whether or not it's approved, 100% up to OSFI. And if OSFI says no, we have no recourse. So what else is going on? Well, I can tell you we're extremely busy. I don't have to tell you that the different schedules that you're on are presenting some challenges that are coming up. We know that you're only on them until May, so we're going to have to extend it if we want to keep this system going. That's going to present problems with leave. Summer leave, some of you are not on the same schedules that you bid your summer leave on. So we may have to look at readjusting that, perhaps even rebidding it. The RVPs are in discussions with the GMs to try and find solutions to this coming up. You may have heard rumors that NAV Canada doesn't want you to be able to cancel booked summer leave, or that they want to force you to take summer leave. That's true. The company has expressed that to us, and the reality is, under our collective agreement, if you read it, leave is supposed to be taken in the year in which it was accrued. And if you read the Canada Labour Code, it also states that leave should be taken in the year that it was accrued. We have a cancellation clause in our collective agreement, but it does not apply until after October. We have to find ways to make sure that leave is going to be scheduled to our satisfaction, and that people are going to take the leave when they want it, whether that be the summer, whether that be the fall, whether that be next winter. But the bottom line here is leave is going to have to be scheduled, and it's going to have to be taken. You are eligible to carry over the 21 days as you did this year, minus next year, minus anything that you took this year. And the bottom line is, with the liabilities that NAV Canada is facing right now, they're not going to look to pay out leave. They're going to look for you to take it. Those discussions are going to continue with the RVPs and the GMs. One size does not fit all, just like it did with the schedules. And we will come up with solutions that are in our best interest and that work for everybody. Another rumor you may have heard about, early retirement incentives. NAV Canada has approached CACA and said that they would like to make an offer to more senior members who are eligible for an unreduced pension to take early retirement incentives, i.e. Offer something up for you to retire, irrevocable date, and leave. Those discussions have only really started in earnest this week. We are talking to NAV Canada. We are opening to listening to what their suggestions are, but we also have a lot of concerns. CACA and our members across the country, we all know we have a staffing crisis, quite a bit of a problem. We're not in a huge rush to get people to leave. If traffic returns quickly, unexpectedly, then we could be faced with a problem. That said, we also realize that NAV Canada has a business to run, and that reducing the workforce may be something that they need to look at doing somewhere down the road. There has been absolutely no talk of layoffs to date. I think you all know that even trainees who are not our members that are at home are being paid. Certainly all our trainees are being paid. NAV is doing the right thing and has done the right thing. How long that will last, your guess is as good as mine. All this started, we thought we might be in this problem for a month or two. It's starting to look like we're going to be in this problem for longer. The early retirement incentive might be something that is palatable to us. It may be something that's beneficial to our members, and it's certainly something that we are going to look at. We will thoroughly examine it as a board. We'll look in all the nooks and crannies, all the crevices, for all the things that are good and bad, and we will come to a decision that works for CACA and its members. So a couple of those items that I touched on, you may have heard some of that stuff of the rumor mill, and I'd like to address that for just a second. We are getting, and the RVPs are getting, a lot of people asking, hey, I've heard this, I've heard that. There is so much going on right now with schedules, with talks about leave, with talks about early retirement incentives, with talks about cost-cutting measures. Every time we turn around, there's a new conversation going in a new direction. And from one day to the next, those directions change. It would be irresponsible of us to put out everything that, oh, well, we've heard this from the company, we may be talking to them about that. No, that's not a good way to do business. CACA has and will continue to be completely and 100% transparent. You got the BNF on the salary deferral within 24 hours of us signing that LOU. Once things are done and once we have a clear direction and we know exactly where we're going, we have taken great pride in communicating that to our members almost instantly. When you consider that we have to write the BNF and then we have to get it translated and we have to go through the process of getting things posted, it's not an easy undertaking, but we are doing it at lightning fast speed. So I'm asking you, if you hear the rumors, please go to your RVP, go to your branch chair who will go to your RVP and ask the question. Don't feed the rumor mill. Don't get caught up in, well, I heard this, because when we have something to communicate and it's real, we will tell you. We always have, and we will continue down that path. We're very, very committed to communication and transparency, more than we have ever been. So we have so much going on right now. There are so many questions, and we realize that. These video messages, I think, are being very, very well received, and I'm going to do something a little bit different. I may end up regretting doing this. I'm going to put an email address up across here. askthecatcapresident@gmail.com. I want you to email me your questions. They will come to me directly. And I'm going to put together more video messages coming up. And I'm going to answer the questions directly from the membership. What are your concerns? What are you worried about? What questions do you have? I think this can be a very effective tool for us during the pandemic when, unfortunately, we can't get out there and see you face to face. But I'm willing to give this a try. I think it could be an effective tool. Let's see what happens. All I ask, just put your name and the unit that you're from when you write the question. It will not be published when I answer them, but I'd like to know that so that if I can't answer all the questions, if I get inundated, I can at least have the RVPs get back to you with some answers. We'll give it a try. We'll see what happens. Again, let me close by saying thank you so much for everything that you're doing every day. It's not unnoticed. It's not unappreciated. I'm so proud of you and everything that you're doing. And together, as we always say, stronger together, we will get through this. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.